Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Dave Strohmeyer with Saddle Up Shooting. If this is your first time here, glad to know you. Today we're going to be talking about a .243 caliber bullet that was the original, along with the 6mm Remington, the .243 Winchester. And what has happened to it? Is it boom? Is it bust? Is it something that's passé? Something that can be revisited? Whatever your choices are, let's go through that today. See you in a moment. Now, if anybody's been paying attention to YouTube videos, you've seen that there's been an explosion in the 6mm cartridges. From the old cartridges dating back to 1955 when the .243 Winchester was first brought to market. That happened to be the same year I was born. So both of us have a lot of experience together. But the 6mm cartridges now are gone from these short cartridges to even the Magnum cartridges, if you want to fool around with that. But, you know, from hunting, from just fun shooting, from starting kids out to whatever gender, to the hunter, to the competition shooter now. The latest that came out, I think, is probably the 6mm Creedmoor, I think, is probably the latest. Maybe the 6mm GT, or even the 6mm ARC. All of these shoot the .244 caliber bullets and are used almost exclusively now in the competition arena because of the explosion of higher ballistic coefficient type bullets. But what I'm going to talk to you about is whether or not the .243 Winchester is just boom or bust. Has it kind of left its time, or is there still a place for it? Well, I'm going to argue that point, that there's still a place for it. And let's go through that a little bit right now. Okay, the .243 Winchester was the rifle that I learned on as far as reloading is concerned back in the early 90s. And boy, did I ever have a learning curve. I happened to pick probably the most difficult cartridge there was in terms of learning about the case, because the shoulder on the case and the case tended to stretch, because it is considered an overbore cartridge, even though it's a little diminutive for a short action type of cartridge. Now, I've owned 6 .243s over the years. I'm down to just 2 now, and that's the 2 that are in front of you here. And I'll go over those in a moment. But the .243 can take anywhere from a 55 grain bullet with a 1 in 10 twist type of barrel up to a 103 grain bullet, maybe 105. But nowadays, the .243 is coming with faster twist barrels to be able to use some of those newer type of bullets. But the case itself was not designed for that because it has a longer neck than the newer type of, like the 6mm Creedmoor, that can use those long and sleek type of bullets that are made for high ballistic coefficients and probably mostly for target shooting anyway. Well, so I'm talking strictly from the hunter's standpoint here, that over the years, the .243 is probably next to the .30-30 Winchester, and the 30-06 has taken more game across the United States than anything else has. The bullet of choice, well, let's just go from Winchester and Remington's offerings. Back in the silver box and the green box day, you had basically 2 choices. You had either the 100 grain bullet for deer or the 80 grain bullet for varmint shooting. That was it. But because of reloading, you can take that now, like I said, from the 55 grain clear up to the 103 grain and tailor make it to what you're wanting to do. As far as the speed range is concerned, from the 55 grain, you're pushing that 4,000 feet per second threshold that some people want to do. Now that would obviously be in the 1 in 10 twist barrel, not for the faster twist barrels. But now, with the change in barrel twist rates, you can go to that 103 grain and shoot it very well and shoot it right around that 3,000 feet per second. So that means that you can take that cartridge anywhere to anything that you want to shoot that is under the elk size game. No, I would not use the 243 for elk. I just wouldn't. I have too much respect for larger animals, but there's plenty of people out there that have taken them, and shot placement is the most important thing. If you're close enough, and if you get a broadside shot and you put it in the heart or you put it in the head, yeah, you're going to have pretty good results. But my experience has been using a bonded bullet for deer-sized game at that speed of around 3,000 to 3,100 feet per second, I can get the through and through and a high shoulder shot for a quick drop that I'm after. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the cartridges. Like I said, I've probably got over 400 rounds loaded, various testing that I've done, and I've kept it within a reasonable range of the 75 grain to that 103 grain for my purposes, because I have other rifles that that shoot the lighter cartridges that they're designed for. But for the heavier cartridges or that mid-range cartridge, it's just an absolute joy. If you're like me and your shooting ability and your shooting range is under 400 yards, then you've only got about a 12-inch drop at that faster velocity between a zero of 100 yards and probably out to 325 yards, a 12-inch drop. So you can pretty much just hold on to your cotton picking animal and let loose. Now, as far as recoil concerned, okay, from that 75 grain recoil area, you're about maybe 7 or 8 pounds of recoil. For the 100 grain, 103 grain, you're probably more like up to 12 or 13 pound recoil range. All of those recoil ranges will cover from an 8-year-old to grandma. Very light recoil, very easy to manage. As far as the ammunition is concerned, it's still pretty inexpensive if you buy the commercial or factory offerings in that 80 to 100 grain range. From the primary manufacturers, you'll be right around $1 a round. In this day and age, that's not a bad price. So I don't want to know what your experience is with the 243. Is it in fact boom or is it bust? As far as the reloading is concerned, you have to be, it is a little bit touchy. My experience with the 243 as far as reloading is concerned is the cases need to be trimmed practically after every shot. I don't know why that is. It might be because I load them pretty high and pretty heavy. Maybe I'm not that great on being able to do chamber dimensions, and maybe my trimming is a little bit off or whatever to make it grow. But it is considered an overbore cartridge in that small range of caliber. There isn't going to be any shooting today. It's raining cats and dogs, and where I go shoot out on BLM land, if I was to take the truck out there, I'd probably be buried to my axle, and I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to take that chance. But let's talk a little bit more about these two rifles here. In front of you is my Remington 700 BDL, chambered in 243, and it has a 22-inch barrel. Now, because of this particular configuration that I have, I don't get the fastest velocity, but I get the very best accuracy that I can get. And you've probably seen that in some of my past videos. The one in front of me here is my AR-10, which is a semi-automatic in the 243, and it does really, really well for the 95 to 90 down to that 80 grain level as far as what I'm trying to accomplish. And I take it down to that 80 grain level primarily for varmints. It is set up with a 24-inch barrel, so I get the maximum velocity that I possibly can. with that 80 grain projectile, I'm getting pretty close to 3,400 feet per second. Now this particular barrel is a 1 in 8 twist, so I can shoot the heavier bullets in it, but because of the way the case is configured, those longer, leaner bullets sit too far down inside of the case and limits the amount of powder that you can put into it compared to the more modern cases like the 6mm Creedmoor. All right, so this one is for my varmints. I haven't taken any deer with it. This one is for deer size game, and I have taken, not with this particular rifle, but my other 243s and bolt actions, I've taken probably close to 10 bucks with it. Yeah, all right, so a little bit more about that. Only a couple of times have I had a dead right there or drop right there. For some reason, and I don't know if it's because of the caliber, the size of the bullet, what the particulars are, but I generally do get a deer that runs dead. It might only go 5 feet. I've gone as far as 1/4 mile on a frontal shot that I took on a nice buck. Yeah, he went almost 1/4 mile, and I was only able to get one shot at him. So, but I did find him, okay? And yeah, he was dead, and I couldn't understand it, but because of no blood trail, it took me quite a while. With a frontal shot, there was no exit. But the bullet did end up in the hide on his rear end, so it went clear through him. And that particular bullet that I was shooting at that time was the 95 grain Hornady SST. And all I found was a flattened portion of the lead. The brass, or the copper part of it, the jacket part, was completely gone. All right, so let me know what your experiences are with the 243. I'd really like to have that. Is it dead? Is it boom? Is it bust? What's happened with the 243? Is it because of the newer cartridges or newer cases, the newer higher ballistic component type bullets? Is it because of the competition people that they're moved on? They've moved on to the 6GT, the 6-dasher, the 6mm Creedmoor, or whatever. Have they moved on, or is there still a place for the 243 Winchester? I can give you my answer right now. I'm sticking with the 243. I have gone with the 6mm arc. I've got almost 800 rounds loaded for the 243, tested and loaded over the years. I love it. It works for everything that I've done with it. Can be very accurate and can teach you a lot about reloading as far as case preparation is concerned. Because as far as putting the powder in and seating the bullet, just go by the book. If you go by the book, you'll get those results. Well, folks, this will end this video. Let me know what your thoughts are. I appreciate you watching. As always, I ask you to subscribe, if you will. Leave me a comment, if you will. A thumbs up, if you will. But no matter what, as always, may God truly bless you all. See you again next time. Goodbye.